Hello. Welcome along to Adventures in Pop, episode 92, I do believe. Um, this is purported to be, in this country certainly, the most miserable week of the whole year. I think they call it a black week, actually, because people start to get their credit card bills after Christmas. The weather's still terrible, the nights are still long, and the afternoons are short, and half of us are doing dry January. So, I'm here to compound the. No. That's not even funny. I'm here to bring a little bit of happiness via a new song which has a very definite summer feel. So look, this is part of my kind of occasional series of previewing songs that I have just written because, as usual, I'm sure it's the same for many singer-songwriters. The thing that you're most excited about is the thing that you've just kind of completed. It's natural, I guess. And the point is, at the moment, I've got a bit of a backlog. I'm still releasing tracks that will form album 5, which I'm going to call 5, and I've pretty much kind of written a lot of, if not all of, what might be album 6. And this is the thing, because we've gone into a new year, I kind of draw a line under the things I wrote in 2022, which is sort of like a complete load of songs for an album. And I guess what I'm doing now is thinking about what might be on album 7. Now look, that's so far into the distance that it slightly worries me a little bit. So number one, it gives me the opportunity to preview something with you, because by the time it comes out, if it ever does, it'll either be completely different or you will have forgotten about it completely. The other thing though that it does strike me is I need to be releasing my tracks a bit faster, or I'm just going to get into an everlasting backlog. It'll be worse than the NHS, but much more tuneful. So I need to speed up my single releases, but it doesn't stop me from talking to you today about the song I have just written. And here's where we wind back to the beginning. This is a grim period of, getting over Christmas and getting your bills in and your energy bills, and, and it's still winter and it's horrible. And so it got me thinking about Ibiza. I don't know if you've ever been to Ibiza, but let me tell you this as a little way of kind of introducing the track. I've been a couple of times. I went in the noughties really, and I think I was very aware in my Ibiza clubbing days. I went, I think, 2 or 3 times with a very good friend of mine, and we had a really good time. But I think I was aware that the best of Ibiza, probably in its absolute heyday, had been kind of 10 years earlier. I'd slightly missed the bus, but it was still fun, and you kind of got a sense of what it had been, if not quite, what it was at that time. I've got no idea what it's like now. But of course, there is always the summer season, and it has its own vibe, and it has its, kind of its own sound, which might then, depending on how influential the Ibiza thing is, it filters into kind of, the dance music of the following few months. And people come back from Ibiza, I think, feeling very warm and fuzzy and nostalgic about the time they just had. And I guess that's where I'm coming from here, is because it was so horrible outside, I started thinking, those summers I spent and trying to think about what is the sound of Ibiza. Now look, I've gone a bit Spanish guitar on this, so there's a teeny touch of Ibiza cliche, I totally admit, but I do love it. And I guess if I've got reference points, and sometimes it's good to have reference points when you're doing the songwriting, is to think, what did you like about some other music that is kind of pointing to this genre? There are 2 things. I would say to you, go and find your copy of, or go and stream, of course, Domino Dancing by the Pet Shop Boys, a slightly forgotten good track of theirs back on, from about 1989, I'm guessing, 88 to 89, so early periods Pet Shop Boys, Domino Dancing, really good track, very Spanishy, sort of, La Isla Bonita period. So that's one thing. And then the other thing, which also was very Ibiza, was, let me see what they called, The Beloved. Do you know a song called Time After Time by The Beloved? Or actually any of theirs. They were very kind of loved up Ibiza kind of songs. And the thing about them was, yes, they were electronic, but the guy singing always just sang in a really kind of quiet, kind of nice, very gentle voice. And so I was trying to achieve a little bit of that kind of very sweet singing, quite a lot of reverb, and kind of giving it that big, well, it gives it a kind of sound of calm serenity, I suppose is what you might call it. So look, I've just finished the song. It's still warm. It's still kind of changing. I'm still sorting out little bits to, make sure that it sounds as good as it can sound in my ears. So I'm giving you a real right preview here. A couple of things I'll draw your attention to. One is it's a very good start when you find a really nice acoustic guitar riff that kind of gets you going. And this is a sample as usual, and it sounds like this. And then I tried with my best beloved voice to do some harmonies that just maybe sounded a little different, and very sweet and very ethereal. So have a listen to some of these harmonies. Then I'm going to play you the goddamn song.
Ibiza Sunset, and don't go too fast. Soon I'll be leaving. This could be my last. Ibiza Sunset, you light up the skies, but I will be waiting for you whenever you rise.
Okay, I think that's all I need to talk to you about. What I will say is that next week there is a release of a really mighty Goldhawk Foxes track called Never Gonna Fall in Love. That is out next week. I will be back during next week to preview it and play it to you and give you a video, etc. But for this week, I want you to be transported away to the sands of Ibiza. And even if you never ever went before, just to imagine, it's the summer of, 1997, and you're just dancing on the beach, the sun goes down, and sometime later the sun comes up and you're still dancing on the beach with some people you probably don't know at all, and you remember it as a golden time. So for all those who have or want to have some Ibiza memories, here is a song that I've just written called Ibiza Sunset. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Ibiza Sunset, don't be surprised if I am still dancing when you rise. This may be paradise, summer wind blows, and I can feel beach sand between my toes. Keep the all around you, so you won't forget all of the rhythms, sights and wonders of the Ibiza sunsets. But somehow I found you, and I don't regret all of the love that I found here in the Ibiza sunsets. Ibiza sunset, don't go too fast. Soon I'll be leaving. This could be my last. Ibiza sunsets, you light up the skies, but I will be waiting for you whenever you rise. Love was the heartbeat, the music inspires, the rhythm in your feet will never get tired. 'Cause I can remember the day that we met. You kissed me as the sun hit the sea, and I'd be the sunset. And lyric music, drifting from the bars. Lyric music, underneath the stars. Every summer, my constant friends. Each September, it's got to end.